So I want to talk a little bit about coronavirus anxiety and how, by simply understanding anxiety and taking a couple of simple steps, I think we can all start to feel a lot more grounded in this current climate. I'm sensing amongst my clients, and when I go out into Hull to get my lunch on a lunchtime, or when I pop into the supermarket for something, there's all kinds of responses going on, but probably a lot more panic. So if we think about what anxiety is all about, anxiety is largely about problem solving. It's about promoting us to think creatively about finding solutions to problems when they crop up. And part of the big problem that we've got about coronavirus right now is that the problems are manifesting themselves day in, day out, and we don't quite know what the solutions are at this stage. We don't know how things are going to turn out. So of course, it's a really natural response that we would be anxious. If people weren't being anxious, I'd be really interested in that. What is interesting, I think, is that I am seeing amongst quite a few of my clients who live with a fairly high degree of anxiety all the time, that they are no more anxious because of coronavirus. This is like their natural positioning, and now it's like everybody else has come to join them. I was speaking to a client in the last couple of days, and we used the phrase, in the world of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So interestingly, I'm seeing some people who have a lot of anxiety in their lives where it's not going up because this sort of stress, this sort of concern and problem solving is quite in their wheelhouse. But for a lot of us, it really is going up, and for a lot of us, life is quite hard. So what do we do about it? Well, I think the aim is to try to limit the panic, to feel grounded, and to find a way of carrying on with some useful stuff whilst this is happening around us. So my suggestion is three things. The first one, I think, is get connected. If you're starting to feel distressed and starting to feel panicked, is make a connection to somebody who is good for you from that place of anxiety. So probably not someone who's a bit dismissive, oh, you'll be fine, don't worry about it, or we're all in the same boat. You know, that sort of response is not very helpful, but somebody who will make a bit of space and time for you and your anxiety. And hopefully what that will do is enable you to feel a bit secure whilst you are anxious. So we're starting to shift a bit from feeling overwhelmed to starting to feel a bit grounded, even if it's not getting rid of all of the anxiety yet. Anxiety, I think, a lot, in terms of it being about problem solving, I think one of the biggest problems that we need to solve is about staying in contact. We are relational beings, and if we feel we're being isolated, that's quite panicky. And of course, what we're being told to do right now is to self-isolate. So why wouldn't it be quite panicky? So what I'm saying is reach out and make contact. Face-to-face is best. Video link is second best, I think. Telephone call third best. And text message might not be very effective for some. Might be the least effective of the list, let's put it that way, because I do know for some people, just receiving a text is a great thing to do to help them feel grounded. But think about how authentic the contact is, how close to real human contact the way you're making contact is, because the closer you get to that, the better, I think. Once you've made contact and you're starting to feel a bit grounded, my next suggestion is to think about what it is you can do to solve some of the problems that are cropping up for you right now. None of us can fix coronavirus at this stage. That's not a problem that we can solve, but there are others that we can solve. And just getting into the habit of being effective and solving some problems could be really, really useful for you in terms of continuing to grow that feeling of being grounded and being able to get on. So it might be that you start with doing the ironing and you iron a couple of shirts or something like that, just so that you can feel, oh, well, I can do that. That's competence, and I can move from that stage. I'm very mindful that with my practice, I'm going to have to move an awful lot of it online and be doing Skype sessions and Facebook sessions and WhatsApp sessions and things like that. So I've got some technological things to work out, which is kind of one of the reasons why I've got my camera out now. Once you start to do that and you work out what the nature of the problems are that you can solve, and you start acting to solve those problems, hopefully that will build a bit of resilience and enable you to feel a bit more grounded and comfortable in where you are right now. And the third thing, I think, is feeling anxious is a really natural and normal thing for us to do right now. So I think it might be useful to tolerate some of it. Now, I want to be really clear. I don't think that means getting carried away with it and getting lost and overwhelmed in it. But I do think that means knowing that it's okay to feel a bit anxious whilst you get on with the rest of life. So I think we're probably going to have to cycle through these 3 stages. We might have to do them a bit at a time. A bit of contact leads to a bit of feeling grounded, leads to a bit of getting some stuff done, leads to being able to tolerate a bit of anxiety. Go back and get some more contact, do a bit more stuff, do it in manageable chunks if you're starting to feel overwhelmed and like this is all getting on top of you. So I hope that's useful. I hope that's simple and straightforward, and I hope you guys are doing what you need to do to stay safe. Be smart as well as safe, because I don't think panic is very smart often. And if you feel yourself inclined to panic, I would encourage you to kind of sit down, make contact with someone, work out a sensible strategy, put it into place, and remember that you're likely to be a bit anxious, and it's okay to be so at this pretty scary time. So be safe, everybody, be well, and if you need a bit of support and a bit of assistance, do get in touch with me through my Facebook page or give me a call on my phone. Okay, thanks guys, look after yourselves.